I know the statement on the SEC basically as a conference in regard to the satellite stuff.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? We just saw one this week with Harbaugh over in Alabama.
Yeah, I'm not into. I like kids coming to our campus for camps. I'd rather them come here and see us because they get to see campus, they get to see our facilities, they get to see all this stuff. And watch our players are working out sometimes while they're here. Yeah. To see our guys in the weight room and just see everything. So, I'm a bigger fan of that than all these because these are camps too. We're out coaching and teaching kids. The satellite camps, they're recruiting camps. Basically it's a recruiting thing and a recruiting fair that they're doing it for. Yeah. Sure. I imagine, Jim Harbaugh probably if he's going to have a camp, would want to coach the kids in Michigan, the young kids in Michigan, maybe how to be better football players.
If that were the purpose.
If it was a purpose, I'm sure they have one, right? So why do they need one all over the place? The only purpose for it, obviously, is recruiting, which I don't think's the right purpose for camps. We've probably had 1,000 kids on campus in camps, and there's probably a couple of guys that'll be SEC players out of that group, but there's a lot of guys learning a lot of football, and that's our job as coaches to promote and help the game and help young people learn and see how to be better football players, not just to go out and go recruit.
Sure. Dan Mullen, head football coach, Mississippi State. So going into, I guess this will be your 8th year? Seventh fall. Okay, yeah. So 7th spring, 7th fall. That makes sense. Does it feel like it's been 7 years?
No, it kind of goes by pretty fast, I think. I think we've been pretty fortunate throughout the years to be here. In college football today, that's not easy to do. I think, you're just such in a what have you done for me lately society that we're in. But it's been great. You do think back upon it now and you go to guys, I think we were talking to guys that played for me my first year. When they graduated college, the guys that are coming into play now were in 6th grade. Yeah, isn't that amazing? And so, you go back to those guys, you start mentioning names, and even you go back and start mentioning, Kyle Love and Anthony Dixon and some guys from year one, Jamar Chaney. It's like, right. KJ Wright and, Fletcher Cox, guys even here around now. Yeah, I remember. I was real young, and I remember watching them play a long time ago. I'm like, boy, I recruited and coached some of those guys. So,
yeah.
But you know what? But it's been great. Sure. I love what we've been able to build as a program, and I think everybody's proud of that. And we've got a long way to go still, and we want to keep working to be better.
I was visiting with Scott earlier, and of course, the news just came that next year make a trip to Boston.
Yeah, I'm going to need some tickets, I think, for that one. I'm going to have my ticket request list for that game.
Okay.
Might push 500 to 1,000.
Oh, I see. Yeah, for your family and friends. I'm putting it together.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We're going to Red Sox this summer. I'm going to hit a Red Sox game this summer, even though the Red Sox are struggling.
Okay, but you think you might have 1,000?
I don't know. I'm going to have a lot of people want to come. Because you know what? We have a lot of guys, people, and friends come down to games. You're talking about family, and you're talking about my friends' family, so they're gonna. I'm sure all the wives and all their kids are gonna want to come.
Sure.
A lot of people. Yeah. I think I'm going to need quite a few tickets. I'm going to have to figure out how that one's going to work.
And that's
cool.
Be
a neat deal. It's great to get to play in Foxborough, playing in NFL Stadium. I think that was, when Scott approached me about the deal, my thought is, if we can play at Foxborough, we can play at the New England Patriots Stadium. Yeah. I'm all in, and we'll do that. And so that's what we're able to do.
You've had a heck of a record everywhere you've been at coaching quarterbacks and seeing guys improve. And here at Mississippi State, early on, coaching an offense around what a guy can do. Now, this is a little bit new territory for you here at this school, in that here comes back this senior who has all the accolades and has set records. Now, so I guess, like the team, he's going to have to top that some way, huh?
He does. We do. I expect him to have a huge year for us. For us to be successful, for us to have the success we want to have as a team this year, Dak Prescott's going to be up for every national award, for us to have the season we want to have. So, I think for him, and it's great having an older guy that really understands that. He's great with all the hype, all the awards, because he understands for us to have the year we want to have as a team, he's going to be mentioned in every possible award. Mm-hmm. And if he is mentioned in every possible award, it means we're having the year we want to have as a team. So they're kind of going to go hand in hand with an older guy like Dak. And So I feel, pretty good because he has the maturity. He's been around it. He's had the hype around him already to understand what's coming and how to approach it and how to handle it and just really worry about us winning football games and finding the way to be the best team we can be.
Dan Mullen on head-to-head. We live in that social media age, and the younger you are, the more plugged in it seems like we are to social media. So that said, obviously, your team and the players and everybody involved will know that, hey, this magazine or this service or this guy says they don't pick us to do very well in the SEC West. It's that competitive. So that will filter through. Do you just allow them to handle it and don't talk about it? Do you ever address it?
Well, I mean, at times, nobody picked us to do anything last year in the SEC, I think, right? We were picked to finish near the bottom last year. And so
by pretty much everyone.
Yeah, we did pretty well there. So, you got to go win it on the field. I think our guys understand that there's perception and reality. Our guys understand the reality. They're going to have to go win it every single week out there on the field, and they know how hard that's going to be. Yeah. How people perceive us coming into the season, I don't know. Don't really care that much, I do care whether we're prepared and whether our guys are willing to work hard this season. If they pick us to finish last, I think that's great. That's great motivation for our guys. I probably like to be picked first or last. First, you're motivated to stay number one. Last, you're motivated to prove everybody wrong. If you're in the middle, you're kind of average. So
sure, nothing wrong with being an underdog. That's for sure. I made this observation. We were talking about it recently on the show. You look at the success that Coach Myers had, every stop that he's had in his coaching career. And you were there for a lot of that with him, minus most recently at Ohio State. But at the same time, you're here, and you have a team here ranked number one in the country. Now, this is not a fair question because I know you can't tell. We don't have nearly – we need months and months and years to get the answer. But you guys have figured something out. What is it?
Well, I think, I think there's an outline for success. It's not a plan. There's an outline. And, one of the things I think we're very fortunate at is take this outline we had to success and then have to apply it to multiple programs. And what you do is you realize each program's unique. So the plan won't work exactly. The plan that, say, is going to work at Ohio State might not work at Mississippi State. Now, the outline's going to work.
Okay.
How you implement the plan specifically. The same with, Bowling Green and Utah were very different. Utah and Florida, very different. Florida, Mississippi State, very different.
Yeah.
And what you have to do is you have to understand this outline that we have for success, how to run the program, and then you take your individual school and you apply that outline of how the best way to manage it and fit it into this program is. And, and I think you look at a lot of the guys that are in Urban's coaching tree have had a lot of success, and, especially guys that look to go follow that plan. And even as the tree branches out, I mean, I look at the one guy that's coached under me so far to go become a head coach, Mark Hudspeth, down at ULL, having a lot of success down there. And I think really, and you talk about following that outline, not the specific plan, not exact specifics, right, but the general outline of how to have a successful program.
I was talking recently to a guy who's a CEO. During the course of the conversation, as he was giving out some advice, he didn't know he was giving advice, but I was listening, and he made the comment. He said, kind of the way I've always approached it is, if it ain't broke, fix it anyway. In other words, he's comfortable being uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, I think you always have to. We do that. We constantly evaluating. We don't change just to change. But every single year, we spend a lot of time evaluating everything that we're doing. How can we do it better? Is this something that is really good? Can we do it better? Is this something we have to completely change?
See, and fans hear that. And a lot of times fans think it's just talk. But it's really not, is it?
It's a reality. I mean, you look, I'm a big believer. If you look at successful people, okay, and whether you're a successful coach, you can kind of take almost an outline of how we run a successful football program, and you go and apply that to a corporation. Mm-hmm. I bet it's going to work pretty efficiently and be successful. You go take that and apply that to a school system and the education. It's going to be successful. You look at successful people, the military, it's going to be successful. The government, you look at successful people, and how they've become successful. And there's a lot of similar characteristics to how they run organizations, what their values are, what their beliefs are, what their daily habits are. They're not all going to be the same, but there's going to be lots and lots of crossovers as far as reading it. There was a great book written on leadership by Rudy Giuliani. I'm a big Rudy Giuliani fan. And one of the things he said that he thought made him such a great leader, and this is why, a very intelligent guy, made New York City so special. Had to leave through, 9/11, one of the most difficult times in the country, in the country's history, and he's the mayor in charge of having to deal with all that. But he said he was so fortunate to have the New York Yankees were winning when he was the mayor. So he could go meet with Joe Torre and go meet with sports figures. Okay? He had the United Nations in New York City where he could meet with top political leaders around the world. He had the top business leaders in the country right there. He had all of this at his fingertips as the mayor that he could go meet with different leaders and really bounce ideas off of people and really come to a conclusion, as he says, that a lot of them have the same drive and characteristics to be successful. And, as long as you look and apply that, you're going to have a chance to be successful, and no matter what field you go into.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Sounds like a book I want to read. Bill Martin, SID here, and works with you very closely. He's a Cardinals fan. We were talking earlier today about a book that Mike Matheny, the new manager of the Cardinals, has out. It's him outlining and basically coaching parents who have kids who play sports how to be a parent of a kid who plays sports, not trying to take over and always.
I got into Little League this year. My son playing Little League, and I bet there's a lot of parents that should read that book. I might be one of them. But
I'm going to get it. Well, one piece of advice he had was sit on the sidelines, watch them play, and don't interject. Let the coaches coach. Now, if you clap and yell if they hit a home run, great. Yeah. But the rest of the time, don't be yelling, come on, do this, do that. Stay quiet most of the time.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that's good. I try. I really try.
But it's hard,
I try. No, because you know what? We had a great Little League coach that coached the 6-year-old Coach Pitch Little League this year. And the kids listened to him, and I thought he did a great job with our kids. And Coach Tommy Tucker did a great job with these kids out there on the field. And I don't want to interject because you know what? He's probably looking at me as, hey, he's a head coach in the SEC, so I'm going to listen to what he has to say.
Sure.
But you want to sit back. He's investing the time, helping teach these kids, and they're listening to him. And one of the things you want kids to learn is, hey, here's a coach that's investing time in you. Be coachable.
Yeah.
Be coachable. And if I'm waiting to listen to what my dad says instead of the coach or this or that, you're not being coachable.
Yeah, I saw a tweet recently that said uncoachable players they turn into unhireable people as adults.
It is. Sports to me teach such great life lessons. I tell every kid in our program, everybody we're recruiting right now, our job is to teach you to be a champion in life, not just in football. To teach you, because I would say 99% of the guys that are playing football in the SEC, they love the game. They're so passionate about the game. That's them. They'll take that over whatever else they're doing. But what we want to do is take all the life lessons in football, take how they approach the game of football, and teach them to take that and translate that into every part of their life. I tell them, go take a test. That's fine. Put on the eye strips and you can write on it, tape up the wrist and put your cleats on to go take a test. Yeah. Treat the rest of your life how you treat football and the lessons you learn, and take all that stuff from the field and how you live your life as an SEC football player. Learn to apply that into the rest of your life. You know what? You're going to have a great career. You're going to be a great husband. You're going to be a great father one day if you do and you take those lessons and apply that to other parts of your life.
Really good stuff. Coach Mullen, thank you.
Yeah, always great to be with you.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
All right.